Welcome back to the vlog. This is another conglomeration video, but there was my first day as a nurse-ish and talking about some stuff. Just like stuff that happened in the world that's kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video.
I didn't notice that. I was on the phone with Megan, so I didn't start recording earlier. So I was going to get some of the frosty trees on the other side of the road. But it's kind of weird. There's like almost a line, like the bottom little bit of trees. And the ones that are down here in the bottom are like that. It's been an interesting day temperature-wise. We brought Nathan to daycare and it was like negative. Or it was like 6 degrees, and then by the time I got Megan home, she's no longer coming with me, it was up to down to like -1 or 2. Now at the end of Elk Park, or roughly the end of Elk Park, it's -12. I'll probably drop another degree or 2. But I don't know, that's always been one of my favorite things is like when the trees are frosty like that, or even better if there's still clumps of snow on them and then they're frosty like that on top of it. This Elk Park area is just so interesting because it's like one of the coldest, most inhospitable places around. Like, it's just kind of pretty, especially when it's that insanely frigid level of cold like it is. Causes that frost and the fog and all that. It's -13. I'll let you know what it is once I get to the bottom by Bernice, because usually that's where it like has gotten back up and stabilizes a bit. Okay, so another thing I don't think out-of-staters would really get or would like about Montana. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory, but when, like, a truck has a double or a triple, it's when they're towing more than one trailer. And a FedEx truck in a corner that had a double, like, got his double, like, the back one of the double off into the shoulder. And because of the snow, that means they have to put rock and, like, ice that's been going on, they have to put rock down. And, you know, obviously, like, people driving on the driving lanes, a lot of that gets kicked into the shoulder. And, like, I think I've mentioned how, like, because this has so many highway miles on it, and it's, like, assuming, like, it seems like it just because of the rock chips, as grew up in Montana. Yeah, it's insane. Like, I think, like, someone from a state that they've never experienced that might crash. Because it sounds like somebody, like, you're in a desert sandstorm, but it's, like, much bigger rocks. And yeah, like, besides, like, chipping the crap out of your paint, like, if you weren't, like, the first time, if you'd never experienced that before, because obviously, like, being a passenger, most Montanans experience that before they're even driving as a passenger. But yeah, like, that's another one of those things. It's like, if it wouldn't have been for COVID, so I would have had to continue going all 5 days of the week and never would have taken a break, because at this point I would have gotten the rest of the winter of 19, all of the winter of or I guess early 2020, so 1920, and then I would have the entire winter of 2021 and all of the winter of 21-22. Like, this thing would legitimately not have paint on the nose. Like, I kind of wish I would have still been recording, because yeah, it seriously sounds like you have somebody with a crew of about 40 people with like 4 10-gauge shotgun shoot, like standing in front of the car just with like a semi-auto shooting endlessly. It's insane. I mean, I guess that's why those bras exist, and I mean kind of don't anymore because invisible bras kind of replace them. Yeah, and I'm close enough to Bernice. It's kind of stabilized at -5. I kind of thought it'd go up more. It usually does. But it's kind of funny. I literally just watched the video from that posted Megan was just editing it, where right after Boulder Hill it stalled out at -13, and today it stalled out at -13. Since I didn't show my face during any of that other stuff, trimmed. But on a much more serious thing, it's like, I don't know, because I was trying to finish off a platinum, and like, besides the Cowboys games, like, as much as I love sports and love football, like, I usually just kind of dabble in non-Cowboy stuff just because I have so much other entertainment I want to consume. But obviously with that Bills-Bengals game, I was like, yeah, that's a huge game. I gotta watch that. And I like and I was just gonna like check in on the score, and I seen like that it had been suspended. And then found out what went on and watched that thing, because I was thinking, you know, like, it was going to be some major injury, but then it's so weird because it's kind of, because, you know, especially like, it's interesting timing because, like, one of the things that's always one of my New Year's resolutions, which I'm actually really good at my New Year's resolutions. Like, I used to drink like every weekend, period. And now it's like, besides when there's like an event or something, it's like, if I do drink on the weekend, it's 1, maybe 2. It's like, I used to drink like at least once a week to drunk level. And that was one of my New Year's resolutions, was to cut back on that. And then also like chill with the butter a little bit. So like, unless like, you know, I'm making macaroni and cheese and it's like, okay, you need 4 tablespoons. Like, I do really well with them. But that whole thing is kind of crazy, because that's to have and someone that's in good enough shape to be in the NFL at 24 and 24 years old. It just shows how random things are, because it's like, and I mean, I know of people in their like 50s that were the healthiest people you'd ever see at that age that like dropped dead of a heart attack. And it's it just kind of like gets so many weird thoughts swirling, because it's like the people that are the epitome of perfect physical condition, like, it can still happen. And like, my grandpa was 78, smoked and drank every day. Like, he smoked a pack a day and had like 4 or 5 beers a day every day, including like some days having more. And at 78 had a heart attack, and they put stents in, and then they're like, you have to massively change. And he cold turkey quit smoking, drinking, like cut out sodium, like started like eating healthier, and made it like 2 more months, like after the doctors told him all that. And it's just, and then, you know, you hear those stories of like, because similar example, like, someone was telling me about their grandma that's 99 and has been smoking since she was 15 years old. 99, just not that long ago, passed away at 99 years old after smoking since 15. And it's kind of weird, because it shows how much of a crapshoot life is, because it's like, you have people that make it to nearly 100 living an incredibly unhealthy lifestyle. And I mean, like, with the way I beat on my body, like concussions and Harley crashes, which was, I mean, they claimed I didn't have one, but I hit the pavement at 45 miles an hour, so I guess that also just shows how people's heads are built different. Like, you look at some of the ones where Tua got concussions in those throughout this season in the NFL, and it's like, that didn't look like that hard of a hit. I hit asphalt with a bare head going 45 miles an hour, which, I mean, might have actually been helpful I didn't have a helmet, because the helmet would have, like, made my head bounce. And since I ended up not even getting a concussion, like, you know. But, yeah, it's just, like, everybody in my friends group with the stuff we did, like none of us thought we'd make, like, 35, 40, really. And, I mean, like, some of the older ones in the friend group are, like, into their 40s a little bit now. And like, a lot of them, and a lot of us still don't treat ourselves that much better. Because, I mean, it's like, you know, I haven't skied in a while, but when I ski, I still ski like a maniac. Like, I still ride my Harley like I stole it. Like, if I had a dirt bike, I'd be airborne more than I'd be on the ground. Like, and that brings me to Ken Block. Like, and I mean, in a way, that's kind of a cool way to go, because, like, that guy, I mean, that guy wouldn't have been a dude that would have been like, yeah, I just want to get old and, like, die of old age in a bed. Like, that guy was probably thinking, like, I want things to be extreme. And, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's just kind of weird, because it's like, shows how much of a crapshoot life is, because if, like, you know who Ken Block is, you know the things that guy's done. And then, like, by the description, it sounds like what he was doing was high pointing. And, like, you know, a lot of amateur riders, and I mean, obviously, he'd push it a lot more than any amateur rider, but a lot of amateur riders go do that every weekend and don't get hurt. And it's like, it just shows, like, even the most talented automotive people in the world can have a fluky thing happen. And, like, the healthiest people in the world, and then you still have people that are in there, like, that get to or over 100, living the most unhealthy lifestyle possible. It's just kind of intriguing, because that's like, there's this person that comments on the channel that's like, oh, you don't wear your seatbelt. It's like, life's a crapshoot. I mean, I could randomly die of a heart attack walking into my office, and it's like, I mean, you know, like, seatbelts are pretty overrated, because you think about it, like, a little, like, if you're going 20 in town, like, I mean, yeah, when you're old and frail, sure, but, like, at a young age, if you're going 20, the seatbelt ain't really going to do anything. It's like the one time I was wearing a seatbelt when I was in a crash as a passenger, it almost, like, it cut my neck open. Like, I had a big cut in my neck, and I was bruised, like, all the way across here, and it almost broke my collarbone. And as a passenger, I've been in, like 7 or 8 wrecks not wearing one, and it was like, came out of it like, I actually had the cop one time, because I was in a car that got hit right where I was sitting. Because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, I glanced out the window and saw him coming and kind of jumped into the middle. And he was like, you're actually lucky you weren't wearing a seatbelt, because I had been trapped up against the side where the vehicle got hit. And it's like, that's one of the points of it, is it's like, I have enough confidence in my driving ability, and to have a fluky thing happen, like, you know, like, so let's say somebody, like, tries to fly past me and they hit a patch of ice and hit me. Like, I mean, like, yeah, we have a lot of stupid out-of-staters that don't understand how to drive in snow around, but, like, the odds of that are still really low. And it's like, and then the thing is, it's like, I've also been in crashes going 70 miles an hour that, like, did thousands and thousands of dollars of damage, so they weren't, like, small hits. Not wearing a seatbelt, and it was like, man, like, seatbelts really only come into a crash if it's, like, at a very high speed and or rollover.
New text message.
And
from
like with this whole thing, like, I mean, life's a fluke. I mean, I could have a seatbelt and get in a wreck going, like have somebody hit the driver's side going 10 and have it barely do anything, and have like a piece of their like fender break the window out and have one of those pieces of glass that shattered, like cut my jugular and bleed out. I mean, like, the world's a fluky thing. Like, I mean, yeah, if you're a bad driver and you're convinced you're going to get in wrecks all the time, sure, seatbelt's a good idea. But, like, I mean, and then, like, just out of kid, like, I accidentally ended up coming across the statistics. Road-based fatalities in Montana, more than half of them were wearing their seatbelt. So it's like, I mean, if more, and you might be like, okay, that's because more people wear their seatbelt, but still, I mean, it's like, if they were this, it's kind of like with the mask thing. When it was like, oh my god, the masks are be-all, end-all, they're going to save the world. Like, the seatbelt, it's not a be-all, end-all, it ain't going to save the world. Like, you're not going to, like, it's not going to be like every single thing that happens, you're going to be fine because you're wearing your seatbelt. It's like the same thing with the masks. Like, it was just like, oh boy, like, I mean, I know plenty of people that wore them that ended up with COVID. Like, it's, and then the funny thing is too, is like, even, like, because a doctor told my grandma to stop wearing them because all of it trapping all the moisture around her face gave her sinus infections. And it's just, like, yeah. And then at the same time, like, anybody, like, you know, people in the medical industry are like, oh, it doesn't protect you anyway, it protects the people around you. And it's like, it's another thing that made them really stupid, because it's like, okay, like, if I took a test before I left my house and didn't have it, and then protect other people, what's the point of me putting one on? And then now you still see people in their car by themselves driving around with a mask on. It's like the sheeple mentality. It's like, oh, they tell you to wear masks, I'm going to wear it all the time. I bet they try to wear it in the shower, those people. But yeah, it's like, and then at the same time, when I got it, like, this cold I've had lingering since the beginning of October, it is now the beginning of January. So well, I mean, I guess, because it was right after Nathan started daycare, so it's almost to the day. So basically 3 full months of this cold, and it's way worse. When I had COVID, it was like done in a couple of days. Like, I had a fever spike at 102 one time, and then at that point, I think it got up to like 101 one other time. But outside of those couple of spikes in a fever, I felt completely normal. Like, I was still full working from home, so I just did my job. Like, I didn't feel like, yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I guess maybe it's because my lungs are hardy, because I've breathed paint fumes and Bondo dust and crystallized asphalt and concrete dust and basically every chemical you'll ever see in a garage or a painting situation I've breathed. Like automotive paint, house paint, just rattle can paint. Like, it's, yeah, like, and that's another thing, like, if none of that stuff's done me in, and I mean, I guarantee I've breathed asbestos too. It's like, if none of that stuff's done me in, you really think COVID's gonna hurt me? So, like, maybe it's a little bit of that, like, my lungs are just extra hardy. But it's like, yeah, I've done all of that, so it's like, and been around secondhand smoke my entire life, and still, like, and then, like, supposedly there were people, like, healthy, like, 25-year-olds dying from it. I mean, supposedly. I mean, it was pretty rare, but still. It just proves, it's another one of those things that proves, like some of the recent goings-on, life's a crapshoot. Like, you can't control anything. Like, you can have the healthiest diet in the world and be a world-class athlete and die at like, I mean, okay, he ain't dead. But it's like, and be dead at 50 from a heart attack. Or, you know, be, like, in horrible shape from a heart attack at 24. Like, hopefully he pulls through, because that was crazy. But yeah, it's kind of And it also it was kind of weird too, because it's like, because I didn't see it initially, and like I'm thinking it's an injury, so that kind of brought back flashes to when Michael Irvin broke his neck and couldn't move on the field, and all the Eagles fans were booing him and everything, and it's like, yeah. It's like those crazy things that happen like that can really, really hit pretty hard. Okay, so for some context, the reason I recorded that, if Megan even puts it in, because it is kind of pointless, is because there's a spot where there's one of those signs that like they didn't actually put a road in, so it's just like the actual like curve of the ditch, and somebody tried to turn around in one of those in a rollback, like a flatbed truck, and ended up where like the front bumper was dug in on one side and the back bumper was dug in on the other. And yeah, they were just stuck there, and it's like it's fairly close to that one. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, did somebody do the same thing when I saw it from a distance? And I, just in case, I wanted to catch it if that was the case.
So, you probably can't even see me, but I wanted to just jump on here because today was my first day being a nurse. Kind of. I was training with one of the nurses at work, and technically I'm not a nurse. I'm a graduate nurse because I graduated, but I haven't passed my NCLEX because I take that next Friday. So, but yeah, I just wanted to jump on because it was an awesome day. I was with an awesome nurse and she taught me so much stuff, and it was really fun. I love being a nurse. It was really weird though, not doing CNA stuff. Like, obviously I helped when the CNA needed help and stuff, but like that's not my primary duty. Like, it really hit at lunchtime because she was like passing lunch and I was just finishing that med pass, like with that nurse. Like, we were just finishing that, and so it was really weird to not like just jump in and help pass lunch. I don't know. It'll just be weird for a little while, I think, but it was really fun. It was a really good day. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.